The last rays of twilight faded, and the Orlando Mountains were completely swallowed by darkness. The orc camp in the valley was also dark. A fire in the night, far from bringing safety, might instead attract powerful magical beasts or unknown enemies. On the Berland Continent, besides intelligent races like humans, orcs, and elves, there existed countless other powerful creatures. Though their intelligence was only instinctual, their individual strength was immense and ferocious, and the intelligent races were also their food. Inside a large tent in the middle of the orc camp, a lioness stared blankly at the two moons in the sky, one red, one blue, through an opening at the top of the tent. The Berland Continent had two satellites. The planet Nusha, its surface rich in iron oxide, appeared red, while the planet Tasha, its atmosphere rich in methane, appeared a faint blue under the sun's light. In a legend that had been passed down on Berland for countless years, the goddesses Nasha and Tasha were a pair of sisters who jointly married the sun god Asero, the incarnation of the star. Because of this, men of the human, orc, and other races on the continent were permitted to take two wives. "My lady, are you still awake?" The soft voice of the Pantherkin guard, Shara, came from outside the tent. "There are no outsiders now. Call me Joya." "Shara, come into the tent. Talk with me for a while, won't you?" The sound of the tent flap lifting followed. "Joya, we've already escaped their pursuit. What are you still worried about?" The lioness, Joya, gently shook her head, her eyes exceptionally bright in the darkness. "I have a very bad feeling. Ever since we entered these mountains, my heart has been unable to find peace. Perhaps I'm overthinking it, but if anything should happen, don't worry about me. Take Leon and run. Get him to my father." Shara gently took Joya's hand. "Leon has already lost his father. He cannot lose his mother too. Don't worry, I will protect you both until we safely reach the Blood Flame tribe." "Thank you, Shara. If it weren't for you, I truly don't know what I would do." "Joya." Shara had just opened her mouth when she froze. She noticed a faint wisp of smoke drifting into the tent. Enemy attack. A cold glint of steel tore through the tent, and Shara, wielding a pair of crescent blades, leaped out. Just as Shara leaped out, a massive fireball landed on the adjacent tent, exploding and instantly engulfing it in flames. A mage. Shara's heart went cold. One fireball after another fell into the camp, setting the tents ablaze one by one. Under the firelight, human figures rushed into the camp, charging into the still unlit tents and slaughtering the orcs in their sleep before they could even react. "It's human mercenaries. Orc warriors attack." Shara roared, charging toward the mage at the camp's gate. Shara had only charged a dozen meters when a tall warrior burst out from the side, a cold, gleaming sword edge slashing at her waist. Shara angled her crescent blade to parry, intending to deflect the sword and continue her charge. When the crescent blade and sword clashed, a shock ran through Shara's body, and the weapon was nearly knocked from her grasp. Shara slid sideways for 4 or 5 meters before she could fully dissipate the force from the greatsword. She stared at the bearded man wielding the greatsword, her heart sinking to the abyss. A single blow was enough for Shara to know she was no match for the man before her. He was already a high-rank human warrior, a battle captain-level expert. If even I am no match for him, what about Joya and the others? Shara couldn't help but look back. Joya had also rushed out of her tent but was intercepted by a man in hunter's garb, and she was being forced back continuously under his attacks. Dozens of orc warriors roared as they charged out of the tents that had not yet been set on fire, only to be met by a volley of crossbow bolts glinting coldly. "Hey little lady, your opponent is me. Getting distracted during a fight isn't a good habit." Kane swung his greatsword, its blade glowing with an aura a foot long as it chopped down toward Shara's head. Shara crossed her crescent blades upward to meet Kane's sword. Unsurprisingly, Shara was once again sent flying 5 or 6 meters. Before Kane's could attack again, Shara took the initiative and pounced. Moon's gleam flash. She was the first to use an orc combat technique, her twin crescent blades dancing as she unleashed a dozen battle aura slashes at Kane's. Kane's greatsword moved like lightning, practically forming a fan of steel as it easily blocked all the slashes. Whirling slash. Kane's greatsword spun as it slashed toward Shara. The constant clang of sword against crescent blades echoed as Shara was forced back relentlessly. When the spinning blade finally stopped, Shara was already half kneeling on the ground. "You're still a bit short, little panther." Cain suddenly lifted his foot and kicked Shara squarely in the chest, sending her flying. Shara tumbled several times before scrambling to her feet, blood trickling from the corner of her mouth. A sharp pain shot through her body as if several of her ribs had been shattered. Shara turned and ran. "Joya, take the children and run. We are no match for them." Joya, stained with blood, had already entered a berserk state. With her hair disheveled, she pounced madly at the hunter, Angus. Angus, who had held the upper hand just moments before, was now continuously retreating before the enraged Joya, having already taken several blows. "I can't leave. You take Leon and go." The orcs' berserk state could multiply their strength and speed for a short time and reduce their sense of pain, but it came at the cost of exhausting their life force. An orc would be left extremely weak after going berserk. "If we go together." Shara swung her crescent blades, joining Joya in a pincer attack on Angus. "Ganging up on someone isn't your orc style," Cain said, charging in again with his sword. He knocked Shara back with one blow while clashing head-on with Joya, relieving Angus from his predicament. Even in her berserk state, Joya was no match for Cain's. The orc warriors were now in a chaotic melee with the mercenaries who had emerged from the darkness. The combat prowess of these mercenaries was clearly more than a level above the orcs. They had already discarded their crossbows and now wielded shields, long swords and short spears, covering each other in small groups as they accurately and swiftly thrust their weapons into the orc warriors' vitals. This was not the fighting style of human mercenaries at all. It was more like that of a disciplined army. A sudden chill ran down Shara's spine. Massive roars echoed through the camp as several orc champions, including Joya's minotaur guard Hyzen, entered a berserk state. Spurred by the champions, more orc warriors began to go berserk, all of them starting to fight for their lives. The human mercenaries coordinated their retreat, quickly pulling away from the orcs. Before the orcs could close the distance, a series of fireballs landed in their ranks, blasting swathes of them into the air. The intermediate magic technique, chain burst fireball. Suddenly, the sound of tearing air ripped through the night as one battle aura-infused arrow after another flew out from the darkness. One arrow, one life. Each arrow precisely struck a vital spot on an orc warrior. Even Hyzen collapsed slowly, clutching the arrow shaft in his throat. An elven archer. The hope that had just risen in Shara's heart was instantly shattered. Shara had lost all hope and didn't even have time to react to the arrow flying toward her. In the instant before the arrow could pierce her heart, Joya threw herself in front of Shara. "Shara, go." With a final roar, Joya, the arrow protruding from her chest, threw herself at Cain's,